Okay, another topic of which we will be highlighting is the dominant values of Filipino. So why is there a need for a social worker to know these values, especially that you are also or we are also Filipinos. So we need to know the different or the dominant Filipino values in order for us to really understand our clients, where the client is coming from, what are the things that bothers them, as well as in order for the social workers not to conclude things, not to become biased, because we also have our dominant Filipino values. And these values might also not be similar with the values of our client. So, fasten your seatbelt. We will discuss dominant Filipino values. Okay, so first thing, we have to differentiate the views about man, natural versus transcendent or transcendental, man as social, asocial, and antisocial, and democracy's view of man. So what do you mean by natural versus transcendental? Natural means, natural view of a person is naa siya yung mga preference, naa siya yung mga personal niyang opinions and values, and that is natural for the person. When it's a transcendental, di ba, mahilig, transcendence, mahilig ang mga Filipino og tuo-tuo og mga kita, no? Mahilig ka matuto og mga superstitious, no? Like, bawal ni siya kung ikasal, bawal i-wear ang gown, kung kaslunon, no? Bawal makita sa groom, o ang bride, bawal kung suot og red, kung may mamatay. So, these are transcendental view, of which this cannot be explained by science, but gina-follow na itong behavior. While natural is, this is related to things that is daily na tuod ginabuhat, which is explainable by science. So, kaon ta because gigutom ta, and it sees according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs na maon siya survival, no? Ang una ginato ang survival needs nato or biological needs. Man as social and antisocial. Ang tao is socially, right? There is this thing as mo-interact dito sa uban, no? Para makakuha ta mga opinions or ma-accept ta, and so on. Asocial means, at some point, there are some point in our lives na dili ta, kumbaga, dili ta interactive, but dili pud ta antisocial, or na mga panahon sa ato nga mo-isolate ka sa uban, na po yung mga panahon na we socialize with others. While ang antisocial is kanig yung aloof, and you can work on your own without others, no, helping you, or without others nga you are communicating with. And last is democracy's view of man, wherein we are given freedom to do things on our own, such as reasons to continue and to decide for our own life. So that's different views about man. So here we go now to the values of dominant values of Filipinos. So I guess these are quite familiar to you, no? But we will relate in our profession. Social acceptance refers as being taken by one's fellow for what one is. So, di ba sa ato sa social work, we also have the values of, I mean the principles of acceptance. No, accepting the person for who one is. This is defined as being treated in accordance with his status, regardless of whether rich or poor. Intermediate values under social acceptance. First is SIR, or the smooth interpersonal relations. This refers to getting along with others in such a way to avoid outward signs of conflict. Para dili na mag-away or walay mga issue. So, that is SIR. No? Maintaining harmony, no? Dili na lang makiglalis para wala conflict. So, these are the three means observed in the smooth interpersonal relations. Pakikisama, so you get along with others. Euphemisms, these are not directly saying the truth, no, sa isa ka tao. Paagihon pa og mga flowery, no, nga words para di masakitan. And the use of a go-between or tulay. So, pakikisama means giving in or concession or following the lead or suggestions of another bisag dili ka gusto, no? Just for the sake na walay gubot. Euphemism means stating of an unpleasant truth, opinion, or request as pleasantly as possible. Okay, ang pakikisama, say for example, kanang battered women or battered woman, she will get along with her husband, bisan pagibunog na siya, para lang for the sake of their children, and para lang na matawag nga sa complete family ang mga anak. So these are some of the examples of pakikisama. Or magpakapi na lang ka kay imuhang para dili mag-away mo sa imong classmates, so no, very common. Euphemisms, kanang you don't directly go to the point or confront the person kay mahadlo ka ma-offend. So say for example, nakagibaho din pero actually di ay na ay ko ani mo unpleasant, no, nga odor, no, na kuan sa example sa imong kliyente or baho lagi ko andere, no, so indirect yung mga para dili offensive kaayo sa isa ka person. Then the use of go between means a third party who will carry a message, so assuage or to ease a bruise rather, and to prevent an injury. So like for example, kanang atong mga nag-away mo sa imuhang mama, so sugoon nimo imong igsuon, so the use of a go between. So, example here, a youthful offender while wanting to reform continues to meet with his delinquency-prone gang in the name of pakikisama. So, this is also related, no? When we had the conference in Tahanan ng Kabataan, Tahanan ng Kabataan is a center for children in conflict with the law, or CACL. So when we go there and conducted a conference with the students as well as the head of the agency and the supervisors of our interns, ingon ang bata dito, gusto na ka siya muli sa balay. Pero di niya makonkretize kung di pa siya makipagkita sa iyang mga grupo, sa iyang gang, no? Kay ang yara daw gang ang napakita sa iyang love siya. So for the sake of pakikisama, for the sake of feeling of acceptance, muna siya gusto niya dito gyapon, di siya maka-promise nga dili makita iyang mga barkada, which lead him to committing anang pagpangawat, no? So what do you think does the situation imply, speaking of pakikisama sa value system? Good ba ni siya or bad ba ni siya or negative? So you have to reflect. Second is amor proprio. This is a term used to refer to the sensitivity to personal affront and functions to protect the individual against loss of social acceptance. So, this is closely related to hiya. So, ang atong mga Filipino values, no, ma-relate po nato sa defense mechanisms. So, a social worker, example, doing counseling with a separated couple often comes across a wife who, while accepting of her faults and is amenable to returning to her husband, will insist that their husband or that her husband make all the conciliatory moves so that she can save face with her family and friends. So, ayan na kuan tapos na okay, gusto niya nga pasiluon ra iyang bana. So, for example, na illicit affair. Even whether it is true or not, igyogi pamukha no ako magbana ang ipagkalik or nag-persuade sa ako para magbalik ni. So, to save face para di siya maulawan. So, this is a concrete example. And you have to understand nga nung ingani ang interaction ni kliyente, no? You do not directly go into conclusion nga ay kana siya ko ang ragig na siya. Papapayl ragig kaayo para di ko. So you have to understand ngano di ay yung gabuhato. So probably because gusto niya safe face, bahala og masakitan siya sa iyang relationship with her husband just to save the family. Then emotional closeness and security in a family, believed to be facilitated through sacrificing individual interests for the good of the family, parental striving to give their children an education, even in great cost to themselves, older children sacrificing for the younger siblings, and mothers making sacrifices for the family. So, this is, it boils down into making sacrifices for the sake of family, and especially for the children. So, interest in terms of example mga bayad ba mga mga bayad na ang mga ari-arian, no? Para lang mapa-eskwela sa mga anak. Or, mag-sacrifice ang mga elder ng mga siblings para maka-eskwela or ma-provide ng mga panginahanglan ng mga manguhod. And then mothers making sacrifices for the family also. As I've said, dili makigbulag sa iyang banan, sige bunog na siya para lang ang mga anak ay matawag ang complete family o probably di mabuli or ang parang yun ang naay capability to feed the family. So dili na lang kay pag-research sa buhi. So these are some of the feelings, dominant values. Then authority value. Believe that families will remain close in if some exerts firm authority, and that such person must be respected and obeyed. Closely related to the respect for traditions and rituals, no matter how impractical they have become. This is related to panalangin, prayer to obtain grace from God, and bahala na fatalism. So, authority value. No, nasa ato ang family members, especially probably our father or our mother nga gakahadlok kita. And for us Filipinos, this should be maintained in the family to have rules and regulations para nga na authority figure nga mo obey ug mo respect ang family members. Okay. Then personalism. This value attaches major importance to the personal factor, which guarantees intimacy, warmth, and security of kinship and friends in getting things done. So, tiwala are specific values. Under personalism, kilala, walang pakialam. So, truth, tiwala, you are trusting a person, and if a certain person betrays you, o di ba marag, kayo, big deal. No? Mayroon din tadi na mabalik ang sa unang mga relationship because he or she did this to me. Because we really value trustworthy persons. No? Then, kilala. Personal reference, especially sa pagpanarbaho. This is very, nagi personalism. Ay, dito ka, kay pag-iswilag social work, parang, anang imong auntie naman sa kuan matabangan din ka. So, these are some of the examples. Or, dito ra ka, mag-refer ko dito sa imo, anak ko'y kaila. So, that's it. Walang pakialam. Mind your own business. So, this is personalism. Walang pakialam. Wala ko'y pakialam sa inyo, kay na ko'y lain akong ko no? So, this is personalism. Utang ng loob or debt of gratitude. Granted when a transfer of goods and services takes place between individuals belonging to two different groups. This employs returning a favor with interest. This has positive and negative aspects. Utang ng loob. Example, positive siguro is eskwela gid ta ka, in return we have to pay what our parents sacrifices, such as kita ang maghatag sa ilang good life or mag-share sa ato mga blessings in the future. So, utang na loob will give a negative impact or aspect if example, sa dili qualified ang sa panarbaho, dili qualified ang isa ka person, because of utang na loob, kay na-favor hatag sa imo, sige, accept na lang. So, this is part of utang na loob. And this is very Filipino. Example, a child usually feels obliged to look after his parents, especially in their old age. So, this is a positive one, considering that we are very, in our Filipino culture, we have this so-called close family ties. No, we really value family members even during old age. Patience, suffering, and endurance. So this is related to patience, emotional suffering, and sacrifices. A cultural belief that a person must suffer before he can gain happiness. So we have the so-called no pain, no gain. Siya, no? So, related to fatalism or bahala na. Patience is a virtue. We endure pain. Okay? We believe that this is only the test of life, and that when you pass through the test, you can experience happiness along the way. So, example, many Filipinos will suffer poverty or exploitation because they think it is a test, and if they pass it, they will be rewarded. So, that's all for our discussion. So, let me give you a short text from the Bible, Philippians 1 verses 9 to 11. And this is my prayer, that your love may abound more and more in knowledge and depth of insight, so that you may be able to discern what is best and may be pure and blameless for the day of Christ, filled with the fruit of righteousness that comes through Jesus Christ, with the glory and praise of God. So it will relate it with our discussion, dominant Filipino values. As social workers, again, we have to widen our knowledge, our accepting attitude towards our client, because we don't know where are they coming from. So we will start with how they feel, what they know, um, what makes them interested into, what are the things that bothers them, in order for us to holistically help our client, and will not impose judgment over certain facts of which we are not sure of. So thank you and have a great day. Good morning.